Could I just ask you your reaction to today's minimum wage increase announcement?
I think the minimum wage increase is quite disappointing. It is only about $1,000 increase. The labor unions have been calling for the minimum wage to be increased to $28,000. And if you look at the cost of living in Taiwan, in order to be able to afford the basic necessities in Taiwan, it would need to be about $35,000 or $40,000. This is accounting for rent as well. Increase the minimum wage to only about 27,400. That is still too low for the basic standard of living in Taiwan.
And Taiwan has a relatively low minimum wage and a relatively low wages in general for a developed country. What does that mean for Taiwan, its economy, and its people?
What businesses have been saying is that the minimum wage should not be increased by more than 2% because they say that the expected GDP growth is only going to be less than 2% for this year. But by not allowing the minimum wage to grow faster, the impact is that this will not allow domestic consumption to grow faster. It would not allow the profits of domestic businesses to grow faster as well. And if you look at the past 20 to 25 years after Taiwan's minimum wage has stagnated, so has its domestic profits and so has its GDP. So with this minimum wage growing to only about $27,470, this means that it is not high enough to be able to support the domestic consumption needed to boost the growth of domestic businesses as well as the economy.
President Taiwan and her ruling Democratic Progressive Party had made some promises about reaching certain levels of minimum wage during their office, which it looks like now they're failing to meet. What could that mean for politics in Taiwan?
When President Tsai Ing-wen came into power, she had at one point said that she would want the minimum wage to be increased to $30,000. Clearly, the minimum wage increase to $27,470 is far short of the $30,000 that President Tsai had promised. In fact, presidential candidate Ho Yu-yi from Kuomintang also announced today that he would increase the minimum wage to $33,000 in his term. This far surpasses what the DPP has promised. Well, Taiwan's elections have been mainly fought along the lines of national security and the threat that it faces from China. But what is quite different this year is that young people who have felt neglected because of the low wages and the high housing prices in Taiwan have decided to vote to support one of the third parties